The conspirators are here. After I kill them, I will expose the traitor in our midst.
The only thing you will expose is your weakness. I will crush these insurgents in the name of Queen Ansarak.
Likely to cover your own treachery. After I rend them, I will deliver your head as well.
Scarab Lord Nerub-ar and Skyne Spinner Takaj are Queen Ansarek's most trusted advisors. Yet these two powerful Nerubians harbor a hatred for each other even more powerful than their loyalty to the throne. While unleashing their considerable strength onto their enemies, each also fights to ensure their counterpart does not survive. It's one of the reasons why they share health in this fight. Now, this is a cleave fight, but yeah, they do share health.
Millhouse!
You invade my home, and then...
These days, we hunt for sport.
Alright, well, this is a group that wants to have some fun with the Transmorpher.
Here! Look alive, my anguished water!
I don't use the Transmorpher on my Demon Hunter because, let's just say, that can cause a number of issues.
4, 3.
I just noticed the stew right here at the last second.
I will have...
Oh, really? We're okay.
Your lives are forfeit! Venomous sting!
Venomous rain. All of the swarm.
Viscous detonation!
Trying to describe and go into detail about everything in this fight, we're going to be here a while. This fight is kind of insane. At least it was the first time I expected it. And grats to Liquid for getting the world first against this group on Mythic. And also grats to Echo for following them up, where they are now the only two that have reached Ansarek. Now, it looks like we don't actually have to deal with this. I'm curious how it works here in LFR. Let's see.
Rex impact.
Okay, never mind. So, no one did the thing. Okay, so I have to explain some of the mechanics of this fight because nobody did the thing you're supposed to. That's why Lavas took damage there, but it's LFR, so we're not going to wipe from it. But basically, there's a number of things that we have to do in this fight correctly, otherwise we would wipe. At least we would if this was like normal or higher.
Corruption.
But obviously, like, so, like, because he's a Nerubian lord like a Nerub-ar, so he's got, you know, that, the big spikes, he's got the big, like, I'm gonna go underground, very similar to stuff that a Nerub-ar had. And if you've played a Nerub-ar in Heroes of the Storm, you will recognize some of these abilities. There are ads that spawn during this phase. You see these web bombs here? So what's supposed to happen is when he does the big charge across the room, we're actually supposed to trip him up. But of course, it's LFR, so nobody did that. Alright, so now here's the thing. This fight has 2 intermissions where they get big shields. Alright, so that's done. Alright, there we go. So yeah, this fight she does that, and you have to burst down the shield in order to continue the fight. On LFR, it looks like it's not a big shield, but still.
Shatter existence.
So then he comes back. So basically we consider, like, Nerub-ar is the melee boss, Takaj is the range boss, because Takaj won't really move that much, because Takaj will just constantly cast, whereas the Nerub-ar can move around. So what happens with these bombs here is that 2 people are supposed to blow it up and then get a line of webbing. And that's supposed to be used to, like, spread across the line that Nerub-ar charges to trip him up. Where when you do that, he takes more damage. Now the same thing applies to Takaj here. You see that swarm right there on that player right there? So that needs to get dispelled. But it needs to get dispelled under the boss. Because when that happens, you see that? So now, that particular boss is taking more damage because we just stunned the boss by dispelling that swarm thing on, like, right next to her. If you dispel it when they are next to another player, it just goes to the next closest player.
Spike storm.
But if you dispel it under the boss, it goes to the boss and stuns them where they take more damage. Alright, so now here's the other intermission where now a Nerub-ar does this, and you see those circles? When those circles go away, they do those big spikes. If you get hit by those, you get impaled. So you're supposed to DPS the shield down while avoiding getting hit by the spikes, and obviously some people are not really doing a good job of that.
Spike storm.
If one more harpoon touches my drink, I'll flay your miserable eyes.
This is quite amusing. And so then we get to the big final phase here, where now both bosses are going to use abilities from those last two phases that we were just seeing. So yeah, on LFR, we're melting this boss, and it looks like it's nothing, but trust me when I say, this boss fight is insane. The first time I tried this on normal, it was crazy. And we have not even tried this yet on Heroic, but having seen the Mythic fight, oh my gosh, 2 of the Spy Master's web trinkets. I have heard these are fantastic trinkets to get right now. If you're wondering why,
Plots against me. I hear their whispers. Betray it! All of you! Guards! Kill them all!
so yeah, she's kind of losing it. Your damaging spells dispatch a spider to spine your foes, increasing your intellect by 69 per report received, stacking up to 40 times. The effect may only occur every 6 seconds. When you use your accumulated knowledge to strike when the time is right, granting 631 intellect per report for 20 seconds and consuming their passive effect. So if you let that stack 40 times, as it says, that's a lot. So let's just say that right now is considered like a fantastic trinket for a number of intellect classes. Like any casters, like that is like one of the best trinkets to get. And Liquid was able to get it when they got the world first kill, so grats to them for that. Alright, so I've already shown you this fight in story mode, but this will let me show you the fight a bit more here in LFR, the actual fight. Though I cannot wait to see how this is going to go with LFR players. This is going to be funny.
I must thank you for exposing the rot within my court. None of them were worthy of ascension.
I actually should swap to single target, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stick with my AoE build just because there's a number of adds in this fight that we do have to deal with. Plus, there's also roots, like the Tindral Sage Swift fight.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
To victory!
You will not stop the ascension of my empire! Liquefied.
Acid.
Feast.
Acid.
Rotting ends.
Well, there's the bubble we're going to have to use. Now, here's the funny part. I actually can't ignore that.
Ring.
Vile surge!
So, Venom Nova, you see that ring there? So, the way this works, and it looks like nobody did it, is you're supposed to use that to jump over that big wave she does. Otherwise, a lot of people take damage, and it's basically a wipe at that point.
Acid.
However, as you saw, I actually don't have to do that because I can just double jump because Demon Hunter. Alright, so here are the roots. Like I said, very much like the Tindral Sage Swift fight. And I remember distinctly that when we were progressing Tindral Sage Swift, because of these roots, our raid leader told me,
Web blades.
like, I want you to go full AoE build. In fact, you are the only one here that I am giving the green light to go ahead and do full AoE.
Ring.
Because we need your AoE damage to deal with all these webs. Because we cannot have those. Alright, so we use those to boing.
Acid.
Hide from me now.
Alright, so you see that once it hit me, it reduces your movement speed and it does a lot of damage. That's why you gotta use the jump to avoid it.
Liquefied.
course, every time we do the jump, all I hear is the Super Mario jump sound effect. Boing! Boing!
For the Empire.
You guys know what I'm talking about. The Mario jumping sound effect. You know what I'm talking about. You know.
To victory!
What place?
Alright, so you see these as well? That's another reason you gotta really take out those webbings, because those will hurt, if not outright kill you. Boing! So yeah, this is what it does. Boing! That's why it glows, because everyone's supposed to use this to jump over the ring. Like this. Boing! That's how it's supposed to work.
Warriors, you are lambs to the slaughter.
Alright, so now here's another shield phase, just like with the Silken Court.
Blood is mine.
She gets a shield, but she also does this thing where she's going to pull us in because webs and yoink!
Blood.
So you'll notice she keeps pulling us in. If we get close enough, she basically insta-kills us. So obviously I cannot dash in. I found this out the hard way. If I dash in there, I am dead.
In time.
But I can dash away. You'll also notice these big globs of poison and venom that she is shooting out. Because, yep.
Virulent fallout.
Alright, so now that the shield is down, she's going to go up to the platform.
Prove your
So now we have these ads that we have to take down.
life
Shadow
for the
Blast.
Empire.
Here's the hilarious part. I don't think it's going to work this way.
Shadow Blast.
So the way this is supposed to work is 2 ads will spawn here on the outside. We then kill this ad, and then it's going to launch us up to these platforms.
1.
Like this. Whee!
Destroy the outside.
I guess in LFR they set it up where it will just go ahead and just send you straight to that platform regardless if you are like in the right spot or not. So now we have to take down these ads.
Is mine.
Meanwhile, Ansarek is not only doing constant poison damage to us, because as you can see, she has this thing where she's constantly doing poison damage to us every 2 seconds. I'm sorry, nature damage.
Beam.
I just call it poison damage.
Blood is
So now we do that to cancel the webs and go up. More ads. This is one of the reasons I don't mind staying AoE build right here, because I feel like this would be a good time to go ahead and just have a whole bunch of cleave damage. Also, you gotta be careful not to get hit by that, and of course, be yoinked by the queen. We also have to kill this ad here, because as you can see, it's doing a big cast. If it gets that cast off, it's a wipe. An absolute wipe. So that ad is a massive priority for the group. Nope, nope, nope. There we go.
Vermin cannot be expected to comprehend my grand vision. Ascension is the only path
Shadow
towards
Blast.
saving the Nerubian people. If that means the extermination of non-believers, so
5. 4.
So you hear this speech she's giving.
1.
So now it launches up to the final platform.
my soldiers failed. This entire generation of Nerubians is tainted, unworthy of ascension. They are food for my transformation!
So now she has Dreadful Presence. Inflicts players with shadow damage every 2 seconds. And the conduits amplify this effect. So she casts that. Those ads cannot reach the boss. If they do, they not only do massive damage to us, but they also empower her and make her stronger. This is one of the reasons why I'm fine going with my AoE cleave build for this fight, because killing those things is a massive priority. So there's another mechanic, I think I showed this up in story mode, where you have to put a portal here on the inside and a portal on the outside. Because there's going to be a big ring that, on higher difficulties, if it hits us, we are dead. It is a wipe. I am, like, right now, okay, so, I don't even know, okay, so there's the portal, there we go, whee! That's how that's supposed to work. That was actually good positioning for those portals, as long as everyone knows that's when we go into those portals. And then we have to avoid those.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically this phase. I cannot wait to see what this part is like during the Race to World First encounter. I will go ahead and skip this because I already showed it to you on story mode.
This madness is over. You have spared our people a dark fate, Overcrawler. The truth of our alliance must remain hidden for now. But you have our gratitude.
While the Queen's plot is ended, I fear something worse looms in the shadows. Only time will reveal if we hindered this unseen force, or played into its hands.
Now see, I'm a decent person who doesn't roll need on these Raid Finder Curios when I already have a number of much better gear in places. This is actually what I got in my vault this week. Little PSA, do not roll need on pieces in LFR that you don't actually need. If you're trying to get it for Mog, just roll Mog. Just be a decent person when it comes to rolling for loot. Don't roll need, and don't roll greed. Seriously, don't do that. Don't be that kind of person. You are absolutely screwing over other people because you're being selfish. And that's not okay. Pretty sure I am not going to get either of those, so... So, you didn't see that basically the part where we had to jump over the Venom Wave, there was a ring around it that we had to stand inside the ring but not touch the green little thing that was causing us to bounce. Only one person does that and they have to time it. So let's just say there is more intricacy to this fight than what you saw here in terms of mechanics, but you do now have a better idea of what the mechanics for this fight are here in LFR compared to what it was like in story mode. Now, normally I would cut it off here, but there is something I want to go ahead and do. And I'll go ahead and do it on camera because I did unlock it just before I started making this video. So I was able to reach level 7? Yeah, level 7 with the General. Anubazal. By the way, if you're wondering how I can move my thing around, it's a add-on I was recommended, courtesy of MF Palatime, called, I think it was called Blizzard Move, which lets me move my windows around. Plus, it can also let me make it bigger or smaller, which is great, especially for the little quest window, so I can actually make the quest text bigger. I'll probably be doing that in the future from now on, just to make it easier on myself when reading.
Are you friend, foe, or of use?
We have worked together for some time now. I hope you have come to respect my vision as it pertains to the art of warfare. These are, as ever, rules that must be followed, lines that must not be crossed. Zekval has to die, and I have to be the one to do it. Every day that Ascended Ruffian tramples upon the ideals of war tarnishes the legacy of our kingdom. Please do this last thing for me. Travel to the enemy's stronghold and plant this flag on its steps. We will do this the correct way.
Tread carefully.
The time has come. Zekval's disrespect will be the end of him. You have served me well thus far. Soldier, you shall bear my banner and serve as my second. Now come. Siegehold awaits.
Alright.
Zekval! The blood of my pupil soaks your hands. In the name of the Queen, I demand satisfaction. Ha ha!
finally snapped, have you? I knew it was only a matter of time. So sentimental, General Nerub-ar. Fine then. I've been looking for an excuse to lay you low. Anyhow, there are no places for fossils in our new empire.
You weren't part of my plans.
Even Zekval would not dare to dismiss a formal challenge.
We will speak again.
I am no hapless rube. I do not expect Zekval to honor the nature of this challenge, in even the most nominal sense. We are in the enemy's fortress, and we are surrounded by his teeming sycophants. There will be interference. I have 2 orders for you, soldier. First, you will ward off any malcontents who wish to interrupt the duel. Second, and more importantly, you will bring neither sword nor spell to bear against Zekval himself. He will fall by my claws.
Oh, really? Okay, never mind then. I thought I was going to be dueling him on your behalf as your champion, but if you want me to just simply fight his minions to hold them off, very well then.
I have use for you.
Oh, I can signal the start of the duel. Alright! Gentlemen, may the best Nerubian win. Round 1. Fight! Oh, how I have dreamed of this moment. Are you ready to die, General?
Always.
I need to target something first. I need to get closer.
Oh man, he crushed him.
Greetings, Overcrawler.
It is done.
Remain an ally.
My cohort's obligation to the severed threads yet remains. You would do well to report what happened here to the Weaver. Vexing as she is, she will have some idea of how to proceed from here.
My loyalty will never... Zevkal lies dead at my feet. The strength granted by his vile masters was no match for the true might of Arj-Kahet. Tradition, study, discipline. If our kingdom is to survive, then those tenets must remain as its foundation. That is why I did this. To remind us all of our true strength. You are dismissed, soldier. I wish to rest a while, in view of my dear city.
Of course, General. The next level for both the Weaver as well as the Vizier will also have quests, and I will try to show those to you on camera as well. I like these quests that add a bit more to these 3 characters.
I've heard much about you.
So, that is what happened. Damnable fool. What was he thinking? Still, Zevkal's death is a mighty blow to the Loyalist forces. Chitin-headed as he is, I cannot question Nerub-ar's strength. His scions will take up his work for the threads, and he will be remembered as a fine general.
Follow your thread, morsel.
There we go. I finished the general's quest. When did I get this? Did I actually get this, like, as a warband item from the LFR and I didn't even notice? Ooh, Haste, Mastery, and Leech. I'll have to see if which of my intellect characters, whether it be my mage or my warlock, could use this. Which of them could use it more? Maybe my mage, actually. Then again, my priest probably needs more gear than my mage does, but let's see what the trove gets us. Oh, it's just 500 cash. Alright. But yes, the Weaver and the Vizier will have their own quests once I get there, so yeah. Just as a reminder, you can be able to actually check
Skanes preserve us.
what you get at certain levels. So now we have the General's Bulwark, which I think replaces this one here. No, I'm sorry, this one here. It was the General's Phalanx, now it's become the General's Bulwark. The General's Bulwark safeguards you when an attack would cause you to die, absorb, and the attack can become immune to all damage for 10 seconds. Which is funny, because it looks like it's basically the exact same thing. But, whatever. I do like that when we get to the highest level with him, that we get the title, a noob. So we can now be an a noob ourselves. I love that. So we'll be able to get one of these mounts. Yeah. And we'll be able to get this, a Cosmetic Flare, which I'm like, okay, sure. So, by the way, there's also this toy that you can get, which is pretty nice. It lets you see the detection radius of the guards in the City of Threads, and you can basically use it whenever you want, on all your characters. So it's really good in that regard.
Watch where you wander.
Alright, so that is the last ring of LFR, and that is that quest, the final quest with the General. I will try to show you guys the quest for the other two when I'm able to reach that rep with those other two. And, yeah, I'm going to get back to work on doing off-camera stuff, you know, to get my Demon Hunter even stronger. My Demon Hunter is now 610, by the way, in case you didn't notice. Full 4-piece set. So I will continue to... We're going to be clearing normal again tomorrow night, and to see if we can do so fast, and then try to re-clear up to where we were. We got the first 4 bosses down in Heroic. We'll see how we do against Brood Twister this week. They did nerf him this week, so we'll see how that is going to play into us progressing against him this week, and then see our luck on the Nexus Princess Kaiveza, which is going to be interesting. So I'm obviously very interested in that particular fight because, as I've said before, I would absolutely love to get my hands on this right here, because this is my best weapon, as you can see. And I mean, obviously I want it for transmog, but like having this just seems terrific. I mean, yeah, it's got lots of critical strike, but that equip bonus is really nice. Plus, if I get the contract as well, it's not necessarily my bis, but it's like the 3rd or 4th best trinket for me overall. And if I don't have the others, the best trinket from the raid, actually, according to Wowhead, for me, is actually this right here, the Mad Queen's Mandate, which is lots of critical strike. Take what is rightfully yours, gorging on your target's essence to deal 3.4 million shadow damage and healing you for over 500,000 over 2 seconds. Damage and healing is increased based on the target's missing health. And the cooldown is reduced by 60 seconds if the effect kills the target. It's a 2-minute cooldown. That sounds... Okay, I can see why. Now, my Bis ring is also from her. It's this ring right here. Dealing damage has a high chance to grant you a dose of venomous potential. At 5 doses, inject them into your target to deal nature damage over 3 seconds. Dealing nature damage has a chance to grant you an additional dose. Plus, it has a ton of crit and some mastery, which, of course, for me is fantastic. So, yeah. So, obviously, I don't think... Now, the court doesn't really drop anything that's interest to me. We got this for one of our jewel crafters the other night. That was really nice for us as a guild. Yeah. Other than getting this for Hero Track and like turning into Callus, there's really... The Silken Cord doesn't necessarily interest me personally loot-wise. It's mainly like... Same thing with Brood Twister. It's like, okay, like, these don't really matter to me, honestly. Even though this ring is really nice because of the mastery that's on it. That's like, oh. That's like, But the main thing for me, obviously, going forward, once we get past these first 4 bosses... Now, when it comes to these... like, this would be a nice ring to have. I'm sorry, a nice neck to have, but it's not necessarily bis for me. But it would be nice because it not only gives me a bit of versatility, but it would also help out our healers. That's the really cool thing about this, is that if receiving healing from my healers in our guild group has a chance to give them back mana, which is so cool. The idea of us having all of us have these necks to be able to help out our healers, plus giving us more versatility, it's like an extra boost. It's like an extra little mini Vantis rune. I know it's an extremely minuscule version for 10 seconds, but still, that's pretty nice. From Rashanon, I think this is actually also considered one of my bis necks. I also actually already have the champion version of that equipped right now. The main thing, I've actually gotten this as well. I actually have that right now because we got this drop when we killed on Heroic the other night. And I'm the only demon hunter in our guild raid group, so they just gave it to me. I didn't even have to roll for it because nobody else can put a Warglaive on, so it just kind of goes to me automatically. This, however, is my considered my bis back, but then again, a lot of characters, a lot of classes have this as their bis back. Lots of crit and haste, but taking damage greater than 25% of your health grants you lots of avoidance and increases your healing taken by 10% for 10 seconds. I imagine that would be a fantastic cloak, especially for tanks. I'm sure that Bull and Jesse are going to absolutely, desire to have this back because that seems really nice, especially for a DK. Like, obviously I don't think Jesse likes the crit on it, but that equip bonus is really, really nice. But for me, obviously, the boss that interests me the most loot-wise is, of course, Kaiveza because of the Warp Blade and the contract, and then, of course, Ansarek with both the Mandate and the Seal of the Poison Pact, and then, of course, there's the Mount that can drop. And as you can see, I'm still a ways to go when it comes to that other Mount, because I haven't been doing the focus farming thing of the chitin in order to be able to get it. So, I'm just kind of giving you guys an idea as to where we are as a guild and where I am personally. Also, I have the Seeker of Loot title. I don't know if you noticed that. That is from Delves, believe it or not. So it's from this achievement right here. Basically, just find all of the sturdy chests that are hidden in the delves, and there's a add-on that shows you exactly where every single sturdy chest is in every delve. And it's actually the only thing that you have to deal with is that certain chests are not able to be gotten unless there's a specific version of the delve going on. What I mean by that is, this right here, this particular delve, the Spiral Weave, you can only get the chests in there if it's the specific delve that is called From the Weaver with Love, because that's the only one that lets you use the grapple points in that delve, and those grapple points are the only way to get to those sturdy chests in there. So if you want that title, you're gonna have to wait until that particular story is up and then try to get those sturdy chests. So anyways, I will catch you guys next time, possibly when I get the other two Nerubian friends here stories unlocked. Other than that, I just have some work to do when it comes to not only my main here, but also my alts. And now that Time Walking Week is over, and the only thing that's going on this week in terms of weeklies is the the Arena Battleground Weekly, which I'm not going to care about doing at all because I don't PvP. The only reason I did the one for the 610 gear was because it was like, oh, okay, just free like 610 or 619 gear, whatever it was. You know what I'm talking about, that particular one with the getting the things to craft it. Yeah, it was like, look, that's just a raise item level. But now that you're getting more accounts-wide stuff unlocked, plus there's now discounts on your alts when it comes to upgrading your gear, because since I have all this high-level gear in my main, all my alts get discounts on both Valor Stones and Crests when it comes to upgrading them, which is a fantastic... I'm so happy about all these. This is the most alt-friendly expansion we have ever had, and I hope this continues forward. Keep building upon this, please. I want more of these reputations here to become warband, unlocked. Like, all these reps here, I do have, like, Exalted and Paragon, but they're on my Death Knight. And they need to be made warband because, you know what I mean? I know there are some of you that feel that way about some of the other reps here, like whether it's Classic or Burning Crusade or Wrath. Some reps that you're like, I have this on a certain character, but not on this other one. Yeah, like, eventually that's going to happen. We just have to be patient, you know? But anyways, my Demon Hunter is going to be continuing to experience fun progression with my guild in Nerub-ar Palace. I am very eager to see how Mythic, which, by the way, Liquid has already re-cleared Mythic up to Ansurek. Like, today, they actually re-cleared all first 7 bosses up to Ansurek. So, they either have gotten a few pulls in and have called it a night, because it's now almost 2 a.m. here. I imagine they've gone to bed. And I imagine Echo is getting up to do the exact same thing. So it's going to be very interesting this week seeing which... And by the way, Method has also taken down Silken Court. So it's a 3-guild race right now, I think. So it's going to be very interesting. Wouldn't it be crazy if Method actually is the one who steals the world first from both Liquid and Echo? Wouldn't that be crazy? Keep in mind, Liquid has gotten world first in this raid for 5 bosses. So it would be kind of like, I don't know, a little like sad that they got world firsts on all those other bosses and then they don't get on Ansurek. But, that's why they call it a race, and, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned.